It can be really scary to walk up to a guy and just start talking. You found a guy who's cute and nice and has potential, and now you actually have to talk to him. So where do you even start? Stick around to learn easy, low-stress ways to get the conversation flowing. This video is for any woman who wants to learn how to take the first step and see if he could be something more. If you want that, then give me a thumbs up. An old friend of mine was actually struggling with this exact problem. She was really worried about meeting someone and found someone who was cute and fun in a local club that she was in, but she just couldn't seem to bring herself to start a conversation. And it was really hard for her because she was really feeling all these emotions, but all those emotions had nowhere to go. But one of the things that we talked about when she and I had a conversation was that we have to go with being honest and starting at least an initial conversation, an initial connection, just so we can do two things. One, by starting the conversation on your own terms, you are the one in power, you are the one in control. And two, it's honest and it's true to your emotions, which means that if you start the conversation and you find that the connection just quickly falls apart, then at least you know that. You're not left wondering, well, if I had just talked to them, would I have seen something really magical or not? If that's something that you're interested in and you want to find the right person, then here are a couple of tips just for you. To get you started, the first thing you got to do is start a conversation. Like jumping into a swimming pool, it's about just jumping in because the anticipation of having the conversation can be a lot harder than the actual conversation itself. I know for me that especially when I have something big, whether it be a public speaking event or introducing myself to people or even a new client, I can sometimes get really worked up, and then as soon as it starts, it's like, oh yeah, that was totally fine. Everything is going smoothly. Write in the comments and tell me if that's ever happened to you, where you find yourself really just fixated on how it's going to go before it even starts, and then realizing it actually wasn't that bad when you actually did it. One of the best ways to find connection for you and your potential partner is to look for the things that you already have in common, even before you start talking. This can be places you frequent, like your bookstore. Could be hobbies that you have, like rock climbing, pottery, gardening, all of those things. Because what we're actually looking for there is already connectors that can be a great jumping off point for you and them to start a conversation. Once you're able to do that and you go up and you start asking them things, you want to ask questions. Most people like talking about themselves. And so by you asking questions, you can start to break the ice. Even if you said, oh, that's a really great book, what do you think about it? Oh, well, I really think X, Y, and Z. Oh, why do you think that? And when we are asking these questions, we want to focus on open-ended questions, not closed-ended questions. I'll give you a brief way to know what you're doing with those. So a closed-ended question is something that you can answer in one word. This might be something like, well, how was your day? For someone who doesn't want to talk, they're simply going to say, fine, it was okay, and that's the end of the conversation. What you really want to focus on is open-ended questions, and you can know how to do this because you're asking who, what, where, why, how, and when. Those will always give you massive answers because you're asking not just do you like the book, which is a closed-ended question, but then you're saying why do you like the book, which is going to get the person to continue to talk and engage. This can be a great way to build rapport with someone, especially if you're finding connection in a hobby or social group. You can also reference something that's happening right now. I'm a rock climber, so if I was going to go and find a partner at a rock gym, I might look and go over to where they are and say, oh, how are you finding that climb? You know, it's pretty hard up by that spot. What do you think about that? That will allow you to create connection. Now it's rapport. Oh, hey, what's your name? Oh, this. Do you come here often? Yes, I do, blah, blah, right? And start getting the ball rolling. It's a gentle way to have an on-ramp into the conversation and start to go with the flow of conversation. So make sure that you're asking the right questions because that'll make a huge difference. Another thing to remember is that while you're on the search for romance, be in the moment. Don't go too far too fast. Let me repeat that. Don't go too far too fast. Focus on getting to know this person and creating connection. Do not focus on finding love. That will hopefully happen if there's connection. But a lot of people go, I am absolutely in love with this person and I'm going to go talk to them and then they're going to love me and I'm going to love them and it's going to be amazing. And it very rarely goes that smoothly. Why? Because the person you're interacting with They're seeing you as a totally new person. You might have very deep, complex feelings with them, but if you let those feelings run you, it's not going to go particularly well. What you have to remember is that love is a powerful and irrational emotion at times that can be amazing and can get you in real trouble. So don't get too attached too quickly. You're just exploring, you're just learning about them right now. And what we want to see is, as we're learning, are these things that actually match us, or are these things that are incompatible with us? And thus, we should pull back on the love, because if we're already incompatible just from the start, yeah, I don't know if I want my emotions to go running rampage over there. Now, for any of you out there who are thinking, but what if I get rejected? I have a simple and easy thing that I want you to remember. Simply because someone rejected you does not mean that you are bad, or that it is not a good idea, or that you should stop trying to date. What we really need to know is, this person, if they're rejecting me here, they're probably not the right person for me, because they won't even have a conversation. You're an awesome person who deserves a great relationship. And if you follow these steps, you're gonna find a guy who's a great match for you. Just remember, you gotta keep digging in order to find gold. And if you want more tips on how to find a guy, then check out this other video that I did about where to meet guys. Click on the link in the description below.